Exactly what does it need to have a successful and fulfilling life? Is it money? Is it a success? Feeling happy all the time? Many years were devoted by the ancient Stoic thinkers to contemplating this same subject. Their responses, which are based on ageless knowledge, provide us with life-changing advice for the present. I hope that these 10 lessons, drawn from their wisdom and my own life experiences, can assist you in creating a life that is rich with meaning and happiness. Take a seat, light a candle, or pull out your journal. This will have a profound and unprecedented impact. Lesson number 1. Control what you can, let go of the rest. According to a quote attributed to Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not over events. Make this a reality, and you will discover your strength. Give those words some thought. We spend a significant amount of time obsessing over things that we have no control over whatsoever. All of these external events, such as the weather, the traffic, and what other people think of us, occupy our thoughts, but unfortunately, we have no control over them. To tell you the truth, changing the world around you is not the source of happiness and tranquility. Rather, it is the mastery of your own inner world that you must achieve. It was the belief of the Stoics that the only things that are genuinely under your control are your thoughts, your deeds, and your way of thinking. What other things are a part of the external world include things like what other people say, how they behave, and what happens around you. But here's the most important thing to remember. Your happiness is not determined by the outside world. The way you react to it does. Permit me to illustrate in this way. Imagine that you are unable to move because of traffic. It appears as though every automobile in front of you is going at a snail's pace, and you are running behind schedule for an essential commitment. Frustration is growing up within of you. In what ways may you choose? In addition to letting your blood pressure spike, you may scream your horn and holler at the cars that are surrounding you, or you may take a few deep breaths, acknowledge the circumstances, and make use of the opportunity to reflect, make plans, or listen to something that is uplifting. Because of the way in which you choose to react, the traffic does not change in any of the two scenarios, but your experience of it does alter. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters, Epictetus said beautifully, encapsulating the essence of the situation. This is when things start to get more practical, asking yourself, what is within my control? When confronted with the situation is a better way to approach it than dwelling on how unjust or tough it is. Is it possible for me to take steps to make this better? Do it if the answer is yes. In the event that it is not, let it go. It may appear to be easy, but in reality it is not always simple. To help you develop this habit, I would want for you to try out a simple exercise. Grab a piece of paper and jot down something that has been upsetting you, whether it be an issue at work, a conflict with a friend, or even a dread about the future. These are all possibilities. Construct 2 columns. Put in writing anything that you have the ability to control over the circumstance. It's possible that you may change your attitude, do a particular action, or make your communication more obvious. In the second column, you should record the things that are beyond your control, such as the response of the other person, the time, or the unanticipated elements. Please direct your attention solely to the first column. Therein is the source of your energy. Who is the second column? Put it out of your mind. Envision putting it down as if you were to put a heavy rucksack on the ground and then walk away with less weight. Not giving up is what this is. Rather, it is refocusing your efforts on the things that truly count. This technique is useful in every aspect of life, which is one of its many attractive features. You should concentrate on the aspects of your life that you have the ability to alter, regardless of whether you're talking about your personal development, your professional life, or your relationships. Presented to you today is the challenge. Take a moment to think about anything that has been bothering you for these past 5 minutes. What you can control and what you can't control should be separated apart. The next step is to take a baby step toward addressing what you're able to, and then intentionally choose to let go of the rest of the things. Let someone else know about this viewpoint if you feel that it is something that you have been looking for. It is important to keep in mind that whenever you choose to concentrate on the things that you have control over, you are making a choice to choose strength, tranquility, and freedom. Lesson number 2. Practice gratitude daily. Imagine for a moment that you are going through a difficult period in your life. Perhaps you are experiencing stress at work, or perhaps you are dealing with difficulties in your personal life. Neglecting such challenges is hardly an expression of gratitude. It is making the conscious decision to acknowledge the glimmering slivers of light that exist within the darkness. It could be a kind remark from a friend, the sound of rain falling outside, or even the fact that you woke up so early today. Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart, Seneca stated in his text. For a life that is better and more fulfilling, these words are the key. A practice, a purposeful choice to see and appreciate the good in your life, regardless of how modest it may be. Gratitude is not merely a transient feeling, rather, it is a practice. We are able to transform our perspective by practicing thankfulness in a world where it is so simple to concentrate on what we do not have, what is lacking, what is incorrect, and what we wish things were different. Changing the lens of a camera is analogous to this. Instantaneously, the hazy jumble of what you do not have disappears into the background, and the vivid features of what you do have come into prominent focus. The question now is, how do you put thankfulness into practice? To begin, make it easy. Write down 3 things that you are thankful for each morning, and take a few minutes to do so. It's not necessary for them to be life-altering or monumental. It might be the warmth of your coffee, the comfort of your bed, or the way the sunlight comes in through the window. Anything could be the cause. These meager expressions of gratitude pile up. Even in the most mundane of circumstances, they serve as a reminder that life is full of blessings. Because it rewires your brain, gratitude does more than just make you feel good. Practicing thankfulness on a regular basis has been proved to promote mental health, build relationships, and even boost physical well-being, according to a number of studies carried out. The Stoics believed this for a very long time before science realized it. The foundation of a happy existence, according to what they taught, is shifting one's attention from what one does not have to what one does have. The very fact that we are alive is something for which we should be thankful, as Seneca tells us. His words were as follows: "Start living right away and count each individual day as if it were a new life." When you engage in the practice of thankfulness, you are not only recognizing the positive aspects of it, but you are also actively training your mind to look for it. As you continue to search, you will discover even more. Give yourself a little bit of a challenge. Create a list of 3 things that you are grateful for today and write them down before you go to bed tonight. Kindness, beauty, or joy could be the moments that they are. Observe how your mentality begins to change after you have been doing this for a week. Lesson number 3. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. The discipline of contemplating one's own mortality, which Epictetus instilled in his students, is encapsulated in the Latin term Memento Mori, which translates to remember that you will die. At first, this may appear to be uncomfortable. Nonetheless, the Stoics considered it to be one of the most liberating and life-affirming ideas. How come? Because when you really come to terms with the fact that life is limited, you stop squandering your time on things that aren't important, and you begin to live your life with a more meaningful purpose. Consider the frequency with which we behave as if we will live forever, such as by putting off our dreams, ignoring our relationships, or harboring resentment toward others. On the other hand, time does not wait for us. One of the most influential Stoic thinkers, Marcus Aurelius, is credited with writing, "You could withdraw from life right now." Let that be the deciding factor in all you do, say, and think. The purpose of these words is not to terrify us, but rather to motivate us to live our lives to the fullest and with intention. Let's pretend for a second that today was the last day of your life. Do you think you would spend it browsing through your phone ad infinitum? Are you willing to allow trivial disagreements to absorb your energy? Or would you make an effort to communicate with someone you care about, go for a stroll in the woods, or finally pursue something that you are enthusiastic about? As we come to terms with the fact that life is short, our priorities tend to become crystal obvious. Not only is the practice of Memento Mori about pondering death, but it is also about celebrating life by concentrating on the things that are genuinely important. It is about letting go of things that distract you and investing in the things that provide you joy and a sense of purpose. Take into consideration this: how much time, the number of days, or even the number of years have we wasted worrying about things that we are unable to alter? How frequently do we allow ourselves to be prevented from doing what we know we ought to do because of fear or procrastination? Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, is credited as writing, "It is not that we have a short time to live, rather it is that we waste a lot of it for nothing." When life is lived with a purpose, it brings a sense of length and fulfillment. But if we don't take the time to dwell on it, it will disappear like sand through our fingers. An easy activity that can help you incorporate this notion into your life is as follows. A question that you should ask yourself first thing in the morning is, if today were my last day, how would I want to spend it? Take a moment to jot down just one thing that would give your day a sense of significance. There is no requirement that it be outstanding. Expressing gratitude, forgiving someone, spending quality time with your family, or taking a step toward a long-held desire are all examples of things that could be considered acts of thankfulness. The purpose of this is not to put pressure on you to live each day as if it were your last because of some tragic circumstance. To be able to look back on your life without feeling regret. It is important to make sure that your activities are in line with your ideals. The visualization of your time as an hourglass is yet another activity that you can try practicing. A moment in your life is symbolized by each individual grain of sand, and once it comes to rest, it is gone for good. What kind of decisions do you make with your grain? Have you been putting them to use in order to construct something that is significant? Or are you wasting them on things that are not really important? As soon as you accept the concept of Memento Mori, you will no longer take your days for granted. You develop a greater sense of gratitude, presence, and intentionality in your life. Rather than viewing life as something to tolerate, you begin to view it as something to possess and cherish. Consequently, here is the challenge for you. Pause for a moment and think about your life right now. Please tell me about one item that you have been putting off, but that you can begin doing right now. Is there a particular relationship that you feel could get better with your attention? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section below. I would be very interested in learning how you intend to make the most of your time. Lesson number 4. Surround yourself with virtuous people. Take some time to reflect about the people in your life. Do you feel that they are assisting you in becoming the best version of yourself? Can you count on them to celebrate your successes, encourage your personal growth, and provide support as you face challenges? Or are they causing you to lose your energy, cause you to feel gloomy, or plant the seeds of doubt in your mind? There is no denying the fact that your surroundings, and particularly the people that inhabit them, have a greater influence on your reality than you might imagine. It was once suggested by Seneca that one should surround themselves with individuals who are likely to make them better. This is without a doubt one of the most compelling pieces of guidance that you will ever come across. Your own mentality, behavior, and ultimately your level of happiness are all profoundly influenced by the individuals you choose to surround yourself with. You are more likely to slip into the same habits if you regularly surround yourself with people who are stuck in their ways or with those who are negative. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who are aiming for perfection, who respect integrity, and who encourage you to improve, you will automatically elevate yourself to meet that standard. Take a time to reflect on the following question. Do you have people in your life who serve as a source of motivation for you? Who motivates you to improve, which is not via criticism, but rather through setting an example? The people who conduct their lives with purpose, intelligence, and self-discipline are the ones who are considered to be virtuous. They encourage you to be the best version of yourself without ever humiliating you or making you feel inferior. They remind you of your potential when you forget it and help you maintain your sense of equilibrium when life becomes hectic. According to a quote attributed to Aristotle, "The good for man is an activity of the soul in accordance with merit." They should be virtuous not because they are flawless, but because they are committed to developing, learning, and improving in their own unique way. The individuals you select to spend time with should fall into this category. You can think about your values with the assistance of these individuals, and they will direct you to conduct your life in accordance with your most fundamental ideals. One thing to think about is that if you want to be more disciplined, you should always surround yourself with individuals who are disciplined. If you want to be more patient, you should locate friends who are the embodiment of patience. If you want to be more kind, you should look for people who are examples of compassion in leadership. You have the ability to have your circle either lift you up or weigh you down, so make an informed decision. The reason for this is that it is of utmost significance to cultivate relationships with others whose values are congruent with your own. It is more probable that you will follow through with your own personal development if you are surrounded by others who are dedicated to living a virtuous life. They help you become more self-aware, become more motivated, and become more focused on the things that are actually important to you. And here's the thing. In order to have a meaningful existence, you don't need to include a large number of friends in your circle. Rather than focusing on number, the focus should be on quality. It is possible that a small group of people who are helpful and virtuous can bring greater value than a huge group of people who have superficial ties. Therefore, here is the task for you. Take a look at the people in your inner circle. Is this the kind of person who will support you without conditions, encourage your development, and push you to become a better version of yourself? In that case, it is possible that it is time to reconsider the people with whom you spend your time. Lesson number 5. Live according to your values. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? And take a moment to deliberate. What are the fundamental values that serve as the foundation for your identity? Am I being truthful? Is it compassion? A lot of effort? Who is free? When you have identified these values, the following step is straightforward, although it is not always easy. Act in accordance with them on a consistent basis, even when doing so is time-consuming. Do not waste any more time arguing about what a good man ought to be, instructed Marcus Aurelius. Act as one. The fact that this is a potent reminder that true happiness does not come from discussions, theories, or words is a powerful reminder that true happiness comes from action. When you live a life of integrity, in which your words and actions are in harmony with your most fundamental principles, you will achieve this. It is simple to assert that we have faith in anything. Nevertheless, how frequently do we actually act in accordance with that faith? It is not when things are going well that we undergo the true test of our character. Rather, it is when we are confronted with challenging decisions that force us to make concessions on our principles. Those are the times when our honesty is put to the ultimate test. Consider the possibility that you are presented with an alluring opportunity, perhaps one that will allow you to achieve success more quickly, but it will require you to be dishonest or use shortcuts. During the present moment, it is simple to justify it. When all is said and done, success is immediately accessible and only around the corner. But in the long run, if you give up your ideals in order to achieve anything in the short term, it will destroy your feeling of regard for yourself. It's possible that you'll obtain exterior prizes, but at the expense of your own personal tranquility. Your genuine happiness, on the other hand, will increase when you make the difficult decision to adhere to your values and to act in a manner that is morally sound, even when it is challenging. Having the knowledge that you have performed in accordance with your higher self brings to a sense of contentment that is not overpowering. It is not that you will never experience obstacles if you live according to your beliefs. Rather, it is that you will meet them with a clear conscience, that you will never have to look back with regret or question who you are at your core is a significant benefit. It bestows to you a sense of inner tranquility and self-assurance that can be deprived by nothing from the outside world. The following is an exercise. Consider a situation in which you have violated your principles and ideals in some aspect of your life. On the job, in a romantic connection, or even with oneself, could be the source of the problem. As a result of your actions, what transpired? In what way did it feel? Think back to a time when you went against the grain and remained loyal to your principles, regardless of the consequences. That was how it felt, right? If you want to live your life in accordance with your principles, it is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Having this foundation is essential to living a life that is not only purposeful, but also satisfying. It is important to ask oneself, what would my best self do? The next time you are faced with a decision, no matter how big or how small, choose that course of action, even if it is the more challenging one. Lesson number 6. Find joy in simplicity. In the modern world, we are continually inundated with messages that instruct us that we require more things, more experiences, and more recognition. However, when we pursue these things, we frequently discover that we are, rather than feeling fuller, feeling empty. The quest for material prosperity is an endless pursuit, and regardless of how much we amass, there is always something else that we can't get enough of. When, on the other hand, we redirect our attention to simplicity, we begin to feel a profound sense of fulfillment that is independent of the circumstances that surround us. According to Epictetus, wealth does not consist in having major possessions, but rather in having few wants. There has been a significant paradigm shift here. one that completely contradicts the way we have been instructed to think about happiness. Happiness is typically portrayed as a consequence of riches, material success, or the next great thing, according to the beliefs of society. However, the Stoics were aware that genuine wealth is not what we possess, but rather how little we actually require in order to be pleased with our lives. When was the last time you experienced genuine joy? Let's take a moment to think about it. When did you make the purchase of something new? Could it have been when you completed a task on your list of things to do? Or did it happen during a moment that was calm and uncomplicated, such as having a laugh with a buddy, walking barefoot in the grass, or sipping tea in a garden that was peaceful? Although these moments may appear to be insignificant, they frequently leave us feeling more happy than any material possession could ever hope to achieve. Discovering that happiness is always available to you is a realization that comes about when you begin to appreciate the straightforwardness of life. Appreciating what you already have is more important than constantly trying to get additional things. These are the things that fill us up in ways that a new piece of technology or a larger house cannot compete with. A discussion with a loved one, the smell of fresh air after a downpour, the warmth of the sun on your face, and so on. To nurture happiness, one of the most fundamental ways is to slow down and be present with the things that are simple that are around you. Instead of taking the time to genuinely enjoy what is in front of us, we frequently move through life in a hurry, striving to get to the next chapter. One of the Stoics' core beliefs was that one should live with aim, and one way to do that is to learn to appreciate the mundane, ordinary moments. A personal example is as follows. A while back, I made the decision to go without my phone or any other distractions for the entirety of the afternoon. While I was there, I went for a stroll in a neighboring park and spent some time watching the natural world. All of these sounds, the crunching of leaves underfoot, the breeze in the trees, and the singing of birds, created a sense of tranquility that could not have been brought about by any new acquisition or accomplishment. The afternoon was unremarkable, but it was one of the most tranquil and comfortable times I'd experienced in a considerable amount of time. When Epictetus declared that riches is the result of having few desires, he meant just this. We come to the realization that everything we require to be happy is already present, right in front of us, when we learn to achieve a state of wanting less. The next time you feel overwhelmed by the demands of life or the incessant drive to gain more, take a step back and give yourself some space. This is a simple technique. Discover a place where there is no noise and take some time to sit with yourself. Inhale deeply now. Pay attention to the sensations, sounds, and visuals that are occurring in your immediate environment. Spend some time appreciating these ephemeral moments that are so easy. A life of contentment in simplicity is the only way to truly master the art of living. According to Seneca, the greatest wealth is to live content with whatever one has. It is through the cultivation of this mindset that we come to realize that we already possess everything that is necessary for us to be happy. To that end, here is the task for today. Learn to appreciate something that is uncomplicated, such as the flavor of your morning coffee, the sound of your friend laughing, or the splendor of a sunset. To remind you that true happiness does not come from obtaining more, but rather from enjoying what is already here. Use that moment to serve as a reminder. Lesson number 7. Embrace challenges as growth opportunities. The philosopher Seneca held the belief that difficulties strengthen the mind, just as labor strengthens the body. Challenges are not hurdles that should be avoided. Rather, they are chances for progress, as this strong philosophy reminds us. They are, in point of fact, crucial to our progress. Confronting challenges head-on helps create mental and emotional resilience, much as lifting weights helps build physical strength. When we are confronted with a challenge in life, we frequently respond by engaging in negative behaviors such as complaining, resisting, or wishing that things were simpler. What if, however, we adjusted our attitude and decided to view every obstacle as an opportunity to grow and become more powerful? Each and every challenge, regardless of how excruciating or unpleasant it may be, contains a lesson for us to learn if we are willing to learn from it. I want you to think about a period in your life when you had to deal with something challenging. There could have been a personal difficulty, a setback in one's work, or an emotional challenge that led to this. However, when you look back on it, you can undoubtedly see how that difficulty helped form you into the person you are today. In the moment, it probably felt like a weight. You might have gained the ability to be more patient, more empathetic, or more resourceful from this experience. You may have found a hidden strength within yourself that you were previously unaware you possessed. This quote from Seneca serves as a reminder that growth does not come from being comfortable. Rather, it comes from the act of pushing ourselves beyond our limits. Our brains and souls become more robust when we face hardship with bravery and determination, just as a muscle becomes more robust when it is stretched and challenged. Just to give you an example, just for a moment, picture yourself going up a high mountain trail. Your muscles are hurting, and each step feels like it is more difficult than the one before it. The ascent is tiring. You are greeted with spectacular vistas and an amazing sense of success when you finally make it to the top of the mountain. Despite the fact that the fight was challenging, the prize was all the more satisfying. The obstacles that life presents are always the same. The harder we try to fight against them, the longer they continue to drag on. However, when we accept them as a natural part of the path and welcome them, they convert into chances for us to learn, transform, and grow. You should ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? The next time you are confronted with a struggle, instead of questioning, why me? In light of this circumstance, what can I take away from it? Because it is in those times of hardship that you learn what you are truly capable of, you should welcome the discomfort that you are experiencing. The following is an exercise. Consider a circumstance that you are currently facing in your life. Can you think of one thing that you can take away from it? In what ways can you develop as a result of this experience? If you want to perceive the difficulty as an opportunity to grow rather than something that you have to suffer, you need make an effort to reframe your thinking. One of the most effective ways to build resilience and cultivate a mindset that is capable of dealing with whatever that life throws at you is to actively seek out and accept difficulties. It is about overcoming each challenge that you encounter and becoming a more powerful and experienced version of yourself. Therefore, here is the challenge you have before you. The next time life gets difficult, rather than withdrawing or moaning, ask yourself, what can I learn from this in this situation? Take use of the opportunities for personal development that come with conquering obstacles, and observe how this process alters you. Lesson number 8. Practice self-compassion. In a world that frequently extols the virtues of perfection, it is simple to forget that we are all inherently human, and that being human means that we are prone to making mistakes. Being our toughest critic, beating ourselves up over what we should have done differently, or feeling as though we are not measuring up to some imagined standard are all really easy things to do. Self-compassion, on the other hand, is not about treating oneself with complacency. Rather, it is about treating oneself with kindness, understanding, and patience, just as one would treat a close friend who is going through a difficult time. Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly, Epictetus instructed his followers. The fact that you must first recognize and embrace who you are is a powerful reminder that you must do so before you may grow, achieve, or even help other people. Compassion for oneself is the foundation upon which acceptance is built. In the event that you make a mistake, what reactions do you have? Do you constantly criticize and berate yourself? And do you linger on the things that you have done wrong? Alternately, do you admit that you made a mistake, forgive yourself, and move on with the aim of performing better the next time around? Recognizing that mistakes are not failures, but rather chances for learning is the first step in the process of cultivating self-compassion. Allow me to make it perfectly clear, engaging in self-compassion does not include dodging responsibility or making excuses for oneself. Acknowledging your flaws, allowing yourself to forgive yourself when you make mistakes, and enjoying your progress, no matter how insignificant it may appear, are all essential components of this concept. Regardless of the challenges that life may provide to you, you will be able to construct an unshakable foundation of self-respect and self-worth if you engage in this kind of self-compassion practice. When you are confronted with a problem or make a mistake in the future, rather than being self-critical, you should ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently the next time around? Give yourself the same compassion and support that you would give to a friend who was going through the same thing. Before you get caught up in the activities of your day, take a time to gaze in the mirror and realize the value that you possess. This is a straightforward habit that you should consider. Keep in mind that you are doing the best that you can, that you are deserving of love and respect, and that there is no error that defines you. You can start to create a profound sense of serenity and acceptance of yourself by engaging in these seemingly insignificant actions of self-compassion. Recognizing your own development, regardless of how insignificant it may appear, is another aspect of practicing self-compassion. If you acknowledge where you've been and how far you've gone, you will experience actual growth. It is simple to dwell on what you have not accomplished, but this is not the path to true development. Honor your victories, no matter how insignificant they may seem. Every movement in the right direction is a success. Take a moment today to engage in some self-compassion exercise. This is the task that you have been given. Give yourself the compassion and forgiveness you deserve by thinking about a mistake you've made or a hardship you've encountered. Acknowledge your progress and treat yourself in the same manner that you would treat a buddy who is making an effort to improve themselves. Lesson number 9. Focus on the present moment. In his writings, Marcus Aurelius advised his readers to confine yourself to the present. If we want to live a life that is happy and satisfying, this is one of the most important skills we can learn. There is no longer any trace of the past, and the future is a mystery. The only thing that we truly possess is this moment, which is the here and now. To what extent, however, do we frequently find ourselves preoccupied with regrets from the past or concerns about the future? When we stress about things that we can't control in the future, we either reflect on past talks or mistakes that we have made in our imaginations. This mental roaming causes us to lose sight of what is most important, which is the moment that we are currently experiencing. To achieve happiness is not a destination, rather, it is a habit. The idea is not to wait for everything to fall into place exactly as it should, or for the future to be just right. You can find happiness in the here and now, Whether you are taking pleasure in a sunset, laughing with friends, or relishing a meal without your attention being diverted by anything else. These fleeting moments of presence are where the true source of delight can be found. Please take a moment right now to close your eyes and focus on taking deep breaths. First, take a slow breath in via your nose, after which you should hold it for a time, and then slowly exhale through your mouth. Make an effort to completely submerge yourself in the here and now as you continue to breathe. Take note of the sensations running through your body, the sounds that are occurring around you, and the sensation that your feet are having on the ground. These are the fundamental aspects of living in the present moment. Being totally present with whatever is occurring in the here and now is the most important thing. It is not about accomplishing anything spectacular or extraordinary. The ability of concentrating on the here and now was something that Marcus Aurelius was well aware of. We cease allowing the past to bring us down or the future to overwhelm us when we bring our attention to the here and now and center ourselves there. This is how we retake our power. When we stop worrying about things that are beyond our control, we shift our attention to the ones that are within our grasp. We have the ability to make a difference, to take action, and to find serenity in the moment that we are currently living in. When you are completely present in something, you might get a profound level of enjoyment from it. Have you ever experienced this? There could be something as simple as the pleasure of sipping your favorite beverage, or it could be a profound talk with a close friend. You will get a profound sense of fulfillment and contentment when you are completely submerged in the experience. Suddenly, it seems as though time has slowed down and the moment has become infinite. When we are distracted, on the other hand, we are unable to pay attention to the events that are taking place in front of us because we are thinking about everything else. It's possible that we won't even remember them. However, when we make a conscious effort to concentrate on the here and now, we are able to have a more profound and enriched experience of life through our actions. One straightforward exercise is to draw your focus back to the here and now whenever you find yourself lost in contemplation, regardless of whether you are walking, eating, or simply sitting. Pay attention to the specifics, such as the colors, sounds, and emotions that are occurring around you. Engage in the practice of being fully present in whatever activity or situation you are currently involved in. Where happiness can be found is in this place. Always keep in mind that presently is the only thing you truly possess. Do not allow yourself to get distracted by the past or the future by concentrating on the past or worrying about the future. Have a presence. Take pleasure in the present. Lesson number 10. Give more than you take. Consider the fact that the moments in life that genuinely fill us with delight are frequently not the result of what we take, but rather of what we give a gift to others. When you share something with other people, whether it be your time, your energy, or your resources, you evoke a sense of fulfillment that cannot be provided by material possessions. Giving doesn't have to be a great ceremony. Helping a neighbor carry groceries, delivering a sweet word to someone who is going through a difficult day, or listening carefully when a friend needs to talk, are all examples of simple acts of kindness that can be performed. These seemingly insignificant acts of kindness have a ripple effect, touching the lives of multiple people, and they frequently come back to enrich us in ways that we might not anticipate. "No man is an island," Seneca once quoted. "A portion of the continent is a part of every guy." Our interconnectedness is brought to our attention by this ageless truth. The happiness of those around us is inextricably tied to our own happiness, as our lives are intertwined with the lives of others. In solitude, happiness does not flourish. Rather, it flourishes when it is shared. In addition to assisting other people, we are also assisting ourselves when we donate. Providing assistance to other people can instill a profound sense of purpose, heighten feelings of connectedness, and raise our own level of happiness. Being aware that your activities have contributed to making the day of another person a little bit brighter is a source of a special satisfaction. This is the kind of happiness that stays with you, that fills your heart in ways that financial accomplishments can never be able to replace. Begin with a tiny amount. Offer your time to a friend or a loved one the next time you are in the company of them. Remain undistracted while you listen. Volunteer to assist, even if it's only for a short period of time. Give a compliment to someone that will improve their spirits, or volunteer for a cause that is meaningful to you. Not only do these uncomplicated and generous deeds provide value to the lives of other people, but they also have the potential to entirely transform your own viewpoint, so enhancing your sense of connection and tranquility. Giving brings delight not because of any expectation of receiving something in return, but rather because of the act of giving itself. Trust that your activities will have a ripple effect, even though you might not always be able to witness the immediate consequence of what you do. A deeper sense of love, compassion, and community can be formed through the accumulation of even the smallest acts of kindness. Just keep in mind that happiness is not a limited resource. Rather, it is something that increases in quantity the more it is shared. Your personal pleasure will increase in proportion to the amount of love and support you provide to others. Your challenge is to find a way to donate today, so here it is. The act of reaching out to someone who could benefit from a nice word or offering assistance to a neighbor could be considered a straightforward approach. The more you engage in acts of generosity, the more you will gain the satisfaction that comes from helping other people and making the world a better place for yourself and those around you. A journey that is founded on decisions, habits, and perspective is what leads to happiness. It is not a destination. As a result of living their lives with purpose, gratitude, and virtue, the Stoics knew that true happiness originates from inside. I am grateful that you can spend some of your time with me today. You can show your appreciation for this video by giving it a thumbs up, sharing it with someone who might use some light, and subscribing to receive additional content that is packed with wisdom. Let's develop together, one discovery at a time, shall we? Keep in mind that success is entirely up to you. I'll see you in the next video while you continue to be intelligent and inspired till we meet again.